Alright, so I'm going to attempt to make some ruins using these extra sprues from the Hellblaster kit. And it should be pretty straightforward from what I saw on YouTube. There's a few different options. Some are really well done and careful, and I'm not trying to be that careful. I'm basically just trying to quickly mash together a matching set of runes here. So what I think I'm going to do is essentially take two of them like this, and then cut at an angle so that we have the highest point here, and then use the pieces that I cut off to become a platform that the models can stand on. Because right now we have enough room for one here, and that's about there, and then this and then the next level, I guess we could do it all the way up, but I don't want it to be that much higher than one model. And this guy will be about here. And then that should allow for a tiny bit of cover to still exist, at least according to 10th edition rules. It'll still give it a little cover even if they're just on top. And we can put cardboard above it. I already cut off a few pieces of a box that had been sitting outside, so it should be about roughly the right height. But I do think I'm going to change it up a little bit, so we will go from there. So the very highest point is going to be here, here. So the highest point really does need the very top piece. So I'll use these kind of sturdier kitchen scissors. I'm going to leave all of the little clippings on. I've seen some of them clip all of them off. Actually, you know what? It looks like they stick out and protrude a little more than I realized. So I do think that is going to be smarter. And then I really I saw a video where someone used all the little clippings as like a kind of rubble at the bottom of the wall. So I'm going to do that. Because these are going to be a little worse than I expected. And apparently you need to catch them when you go to clip them off, because they are shooting everywhere. We'll set all of these up here. Actually, you know what? We'll put them in this dice tray. That way I don't lose them. And apparently, I am just going to end up with a bunch of these little pieces all over my office, because they are definitely launching everywhere. I wonder if that just means I shouldn't be using nail clippers. Maybe that's part of what's making them launch. Is that I'm using this kind of nail clipper. You know what? Yeah, if you do like a kind of twisting motion with them, it's much better. And aren't going to make a mess with them all. Alright, this is going to take me a little while, so I will spare you this, but I'm going to basically clip out all of these little pieces that are tiny, but in a little pile, they do look pretty good as far as like piles of rock and things like that, which would be pretty awesome, I think. So I will. Alright, that was pretty awful. I think next time I'm just going to leave all of the imperfections on it, and if it distorts the wall, it probably isn't that important. But I got all of these mostly flat now, and all the little bumps and everything taken away. And it did give a pretty cool pile of rubble, like you can see in there. So I am excited about that part of it. But it did suck to get. So we're going to do 2 of these at a time. Make sure I have the matching too. Alright. There we go. So, 2 matching ones. I think we should do this one, and then have a matching pair just so I cut them all in the right spots. So I think this one will kind of, there's this natural looking kind of step down. I think I'm going to cut it like that. And then this one, kind of similar. Has about a step down. I really like these bumps, so I don't want to take those out. I'm going to try to leave them and see where they end up on the plastic. But now, let's start right about here. And then get this guy off. Alright, so now I may want it to be different, but I've never done this before, so I'm happier to just try it out and see what looks okay. So I've definitely got plenty of sprues to keep going, so we'll just let this be however the first attempt ends up. Alright. This one will be a slightly bigger wall here, and over here, and here. There. Alright. So now feels a little bit more like a good piece of terrain now. I mean, this is pretty big, so these would really be like the 2 main centerpieces, I think, on a battlefield. But this is definitely a good piece for right here. I think that should work really well. And then essentially oh, yeah, because these are just going to hold on the cardboard. So I'm sitting here overthinking how this is going to look. But really, you could do something like this. So it's placed. Actually, this might look better. It might be easier to show you. So this will be like held right here. And then I could put a whole piece of cardboard that allows the units to sit there. And then this smaller one can go up here. The main thing to keep track of is, especially on this top layer, I want to make sure it still triggers plunging fire, which I believe is 5 inches. No, 5 inches is for the objective marker. If you're above 5 inches, you don't count as being on the objective, so plunging fire is 6 inches above the ground. So I just need to make sure, for the benefit of this thing. So the whole sprue, in order for it to be 6 inches, I would actually need this to be on top, which I guess I could do. That's the whole purpose to me of having a 3rd floor, is to make it be 6 inches above the ground. So I think I will do that. That way the models are close enough to 6 inches. Yeah, that would end up being 6 inches, especially if I put cardboard on the base, cardboard on the top. Close enough that it will achieve that goal. So, since I'm not sure how I want to do this, I'm just going to tape it together real quick. And then if this ends up being how we want to do it, I mean, the tape probably doesn't matter. I could just leave it on there anyway, but that will suffice. I do want models to be able to stand underneath it, so yeah, there we go. Let's just do right here. suppose it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, too. My mind is wanting to make this balanced or like exactly line up. And that's really not the purpose of this kind of hodgepodge rubble terrain. So, there we go. There's more than enough room for a model underneath it. And if we're putting this one on the very top, yeah, some models could sit up there. But I think that's kind of not the point, at least for how my mind is building this. That's not why that is going to be there. So, I guess we'll throw a little more tape on there. Oh, you know what? And just to be sure I'm mirroring it correctly, I think I will cut the other one right now before I hide any of the stuff that tells me exactly how I cut this one. So this guy is going to be cut along these lines. So this one was just right here and right here. And went here, 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 there. Perfect. This guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now usually when I'm doing this, I have Audible playing books. Right now I'm on, I think it's White Scars. It's when the Alpha Legion is attacking them and they're not sure who to believe because they've only heard about the heresy. They don't actually know whether they can trust Alpha Legion or not. So that's been interesting, but I don't think I'm allowed to play books. Alright, let's get back to it. So, these two. Alright. Oh, use too little tape. I don't know why I'm being so careful with it. There's more than enough tape, but let's see. Okay. You guys are together there. And then put this longer one on the bottom the way we did here. That. Oh, technically, this is almost the exact opposite, so I should be placing it a little bit different, I suppose. You know what? It really doesn't matter. Forget that I'm using this just as the skeleton structure, and the cardboard's going to be all over it, so I don't really... I was thinking I could make it be an exact mirror, but as long as I'm making the cardboard out as an exact mirror, or at least symmetrical enough that they are equivalent structures, it'll be fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to leave this tape as a somewhat structural piece. Rather leave the tape on than be fully reliant on glue and hoping that I put this together well enough so that when I move it around it doesn't shatter and fall apart. So we will keep the tape. So got this one here, and just with a little bit of tape on it, it's fairly sturdy. And that should be pretty good for 2 main centerpieces. That second floor is definitely not tall enough, but I'd rather have more than enough space on the main floor, on ground level, and then if someone wants to, jump all the way up. So now we need to look at measuring out cardboard. Now, there's a few ways we could do this. We could just panel up the whole wall with cardboard. I do really like this framework style of building that we have here. So I'm thinking I will kind of take something like this. Let me set this one out of the way. We'll focus on one here. Thinking if I take something like this, because I want it to be taller, and then tear. It's got a little more of a kind of natural feel down the edge. Then all of that will come out, but we'll still have what equates to cover. Oh, I think I would like to put something that looks kind of like barbed wire around the top. This will allow me, I was thinking about making this taller, but by doing it like this, it'll allow me to still add anything I want on top and models could see over the edge. So we'll make a second one of these that's just similar to the other side. Actually, this one can be lower. So we need them both to be the exact same. I don't think... Yeah, we'll cut some holes in it once we're done as well. So I do really like the idea. I want us to be able to see as much of this framework as we can. Backwards. Somewhere around there. It totally hides all the framework. So let's get a little bit more on off with this guy. And let's see about something like this, maybe. And then this guy can have a decent chunk of it torn off as well. That'll give us a little bit more of a falling apart structure. And a way to have visibility from the inside, because I didn't think about that side either. We want it to have windows, so to speak. So let's get a hole right here. Kind of the nice part about cardboard is you can just kind of tear it all apart and snip it. The problem is I don't have much control over how much I'm tearing it apart and snipping it. But we'll see. It does work. Or I suppose the corrugated side actually looks a little cooler. So yeah, I think we'll do it something like that. Alright. I think in order to hold it down, I don't like how this tape is going to show now that I'm seeing that it's exposed. I am going to forego the tape for a lot of it. However, you know what, if we do this, then you have a whole line of sight across the base of the building, which is essentially what we are needing or wanting to have. So we will do that. And put all of this on, glue this piece down. It's definitely worth using the tape so I could picture in my mind what I was actually trying to do, but in the end, that was very unnecessary. I think once I get comfortable, or more comfortable with the idea, I'm just going to hack it all together real quick, and any randomness that gets created is probably better. So let's get started with some glue. This old glue that I could not get open, since I am planning to just let it be a big glob. We're going to do that. I'm only going to do this in like 3 areas. It's definitely a lot. And just need to hold it on so that it I guess I could have brushed this on the other side as well. That's all right. This will hold it on and we'll let it sit for a moment. And now that that's sitting, let's pop this other one onto the other side. This one is definitely getting a rail exposure piece right there. I do like that. So much more glue than I anticipated using, but you're dumping it out of the entire lid. I suppose that's all I can expect. Alright. Let's let you harden up a little bit. This guy's definitely looking pretty close, but I can see it still bowing up. I suppose this would be where using that book would be a good idea, but I'd really hate to get glue on my 9th edition codex, so we'll leave that alone. This is definitely holding pretty well already, and the glue is fairly wet looking still, so once this really hardens, anticipate that cardboard won't fall off anytime soon. That's all I'm looking to do. Alright. Perfect. Now, I am going to have to glue this together, so let's put some cardboard underneath it so I don't get it all over my hobby mat. then we'll do essentially the same idea. Just all along this edge. Right. And I tried to give on the cardboard on this other side, I tried to have it a little bit overhang, and I'll show you what I mean in a second in case you didn't notice, but I'm hoping that by having that overhang, it will make for a more seamless looking edge, not just a more normal looking edge, but anything. Nice. Oh, of course I am dripping glue all over my hobby mat, which is exactly what I hoped not to do. And glue all over this original piece of cardboard, which I suppose I could fold over just to make a kind of reinforced edge feel. Nah, that's not working the way I would like anyways. Let's peel that off all the way. Alright, so it's still dripping a little because I've got so much glue. However, I am pretty happy with it at this point. We've got a good corner. I'll be able to put these guys in there, and it'll be functioning. And that's really all I can ask for right now. Alright, let's get off of this. I'm pretty sure this hobby mat is ruined. But we'll keep using it because I can. I suppose I would rather ruin this hobby mat than ruin a table. So let's get you in here. Maybe there. Let's see if we can get like a drip to run all the way along this edge. That should allow us to get that glued in pretty well. It's never a good idea to stand above glue while it's evaporating. It's really strong smelling. That most definitely. Oh, I was very proud of myself for a moment. And I guess I was too eager. Perhaps I should have kept this tape on. I'll actually sit and hold this for as long as it makes me. Might be a good minute or two. Absolutely no contact, so it was a complete waste. Complete waste of time and energy. However, alright, so I need to come up with something different then for how these bracket in. I believe if I poke holes through, then one, it will give us a cool effect with the spikes coming through the cardboard, but also it will actually hold it. That will work out great. This one is going in as well. Perfect. And then shake it in a little bit more. Have you come through these guys. Yep, that works a lot better. I'll show you what I did in a moment here. So, it's not a very flat angle. I'll have to adjust that. But by stabbing through the spikes, instead of trying to have a level edge with the spikes coming out towards me, stabbing this through, I was able to actually have it be stabler. And now I'm just adjusting where these spikes are. And I think I'm going to pre-cut because the sprue is definitely not very strong. Or at least it's not as strong on these spots where there's glue. There we go. Alright. I feel a lot better about that. That is far more stable, and I'm far more comfortable with a Marine standing on that. Or, whatever you're playing. So let's assume Marines, because, let's face it, once you're a Marine, you kind of always just think those ways as Space Marines. This guy, yeah, this guy's definitely going to work that way. I'm not really planning on this with the spikes. I mean, it works out really well, so we'll keep it this way. I've got a little glue to place in here. Right. Got you. You should be getting glued up now. And you secure it in a moment and get some of you guys as well. So, this is a little foolish, but I am adding some glue just to a few contact points, and hopefully that will harden and make this a much more stable piece once the glue all hardens. I suppose I should actually be using super glue, or not super glue, rather hot glue gun, because that would be much more voluminous, whatever that word is, where it would fill up more space and be a quicker, more stable, secure. I've got this guy. I'm actually going to cut these spikes off because these are kind of extreme for how far up they're going to be. So cut those guys off. But this does give us our basic platforms. I'm wondering, should I leave them as that, or do they deserve a little bit of patching on top of them? I do really like the hollow look, because if they're hollow, these guys can just sit on top of them. Yeah, we already decided there's not really going to be anyone on that bottom base, so let's see. At least a partially glued on floor. far better than not. Alright. I do think that's going to work out. It's not my favorite. I saw a video where they said, I'm betting if I paint it, I'll be much happier with the end result. So, what we're going to do is let this guy dry. He's essentially done. And now that I've learned a little better, we're not going to use nearly as much super glue. I'm going to go get a hot glue gun, because that will be much cleaner, and I think do a much better job on this next one. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I feel pretty foolish that I had not used hot glue before, because I made a massive mess with the super glue I was trying to use all over my hands now, and I just wasn't able to control and stabilize things the way I wanted. So, now that I have this taped together, I can glue it around the tape, and it will hold, and as I remove the tape, it will still maintain its rigidity. I don't need to be fidgeting around with it nearly as much as I was. So, live and learn, I guess. I also completely ruined that hobby mat, so once that glue on there dries, we'll see how much I can salvage and still use of it. And I'm just kind of a messy guy, I guess, when it comes to glue and all these things. I am still making a huge mess, but at least this is far less permanent. That makes me happy. Right, so let's get some glue here. Some glue underneath. I think that's what I like more about the idea of hot glue, is it's going to create an actual strong base that army guys can then stand on, you know, the armies rather can actually stand on, versus the super glue, which was taking so long to harden and form a base that I anticipate not really having a strong. I kind of expect that one to break now that I'm seeing how much better this is. Let's get you right there, get you some right here. Alright. So, looks like I got glue on all the places I was most eager to. Let's get this tape off. Get some more glue on a few things here. So, like, maybe I should be holding this a little more. Apologize, I'm having too big of a rush. We'll let this guy harden up. A little bit. There you go. And I see a spot where hot glue was, but is no longer. So let me reinforce that a little bit. And kind of make sure I'm getting glue all the way around instead of just on one contact point, because that's where I have it. It seems like that doesn't hold very well. But I will say, once this stuff's hardening, it is far stronger than that super glue was. So either I was not letting the super glue harden all the way or something. But either way, I'm much happier with how this is turning out. Alright. Then, now that this is a much better skeletal structure for the building, I'm going to go ahead and start mapping out a similar idea. So one of them I want to have up about here. Then kind of tear all the way out to here. Alright. And I'll make another kind of opening like I did on that guy. I'm sure I won't be able to make it exact, but the fairer I can make it, the better. These two odd windows, which are really useful for the stakes I stabbed through, but since I don't need those anymore, we'll see how they end up on this guy. Alright. Alright, nothing major. And then, oh, you know what I can do with this? This is much cleaner to put on. I can just perfect. And it should be great for that. Let's get this right there, and then under here, and around there. Alright. That should be more than enough. It's sliding around a lot, so I think I'm moving too fast. Alright. Keep holding that there. And I'm going to be doing this side. This side wasn't as crazy either. Oh, that's not bad. So we can just use this piece. The same effect. Yeah, that should work really well. A lot of that should be exposed. We can cut these off if it seems a little too odd for it to be that exposed, but that's essentially how I have it on this one. Might make that a jagged point. Maybe just take off this cross piece. Should be all it needs to look a little more natural. But let's go this guy. Right. Over here. Another stick in that. Right. I'll be right here. little spot that looks like it's getting a little weak. Hopefully I put enough there. But already this is feeling much more stable, so hot glue is certainly the way to go. Yeah, this is far faster, simpler. A lot of little strands of hot glue, but that's easy enough to pull off. There. This one, far faster to do, and a little more stable feeling. This one, the glue's finally hard. It is pretty solid, so I shouldn't have crapped on it so much, because there was a lot of super glue, and that really did serve its purpose well, but I just am unhappy about how much I had to use. Now for this guy, I think I made the second floor tall enough for people to stand on this one. So I am going to try and put the second floor here. That's so big. I could do the same over here. I guess I could if I placed it underneath. So seems like it's just here. I'm going to cut this off and start fresh. This is making it sit too high for what we want it to do. And with the hot glue, I'm not nearly as worried about making this stick. And I'd really like us to be able to have a second floor, especially if I'm going to have one on the opposing side. So let's mirror what I've got here, make sure I'm not messing it up anywhere. Alright, so you basically just going here. Alright. And we'll make a big blob here that just kind of fills in this crack because it's a little crooked. And that should most definitely hold it. And allow it to be a little more stable. The cardboard that's going to go on it. Alright. You stay there. This piece of cardboard seems too big. Once this hardens, I will show you what I'm questioning in my mind. Because I could place this whole thing. Alright, so we have it sitting here. No, that's going to be too flexible. I do need to cut it in half. Answer my own question, trying to show you. So we'll flip this in half and use one on each side. This one can go on this guy, and this one will go on this guy. And there, we will have our second floors. Much happier with that outcome. Let's get in there. Just realized I didn't put any on these other spots where they need to be hardening. I can have them here hardening while we are waiting. So, all right there. You are going to do the same thing. And touching the hot glue, trying to pinch it to the frame. Hot glue is pretty hot. Should not be touching it. But it's definitely holding on okay. I didn't think of how square that edge looks. Wish I thought to tear it. This one's all torn, which works out well. This one's not. Edge going, and I should be able to bring that over. Jeez. Obviously, I'm going to ruin this if I keep messing with it like that. So I'm going to just do this edge so it's not straight. And of course, I ripped it all the way off. More glue. More glue. Disappointed in myself, but should be plenty. Especially since the other glue is still a little bit malleable. Should give us plenty. And this guy needs some for the top. So we'll give them kind of a full Alright, I got the other glue stick. So I want this corrugated part to be exposed. So just have this sit up here. And this spot broke off right on the edge. I think, since I don't want that breaking off basically ever, that's like one of the main, that'll make the top floor just fall right off. So I'm putting a lot of glue there. Might end up being a bad idea, but I'd rather have a whole like step of glue underneath that than not. All right. That was pretty painless. Especially for it being just crap and trash that I found. I'm going to let it harden, and then I'll give it some primer. Actually, I think I have a can of like a tan spray paint that's actually like a varnish coating, so I can't use it as a primer. I think I will use that so I can get rid of it. But as it stands, I've got nothing amazing, but the start of some basic terrain pieces that are at least symmetrical enough that that I can get started playing. So thank you for watching. I will take some more video as soon as they're primed, and I'm ready to start painting and watch some more videos to see how to add these guys to it. I'm guessing I should be using like Mod Podge. I feel like super glue or hot glue would mess up, but I did see somewhere where they mixed glue with a kind of solvent so that you could spray it. That seems dangerous unless I'm getting the right thing. So I might just buy some spray adhesive to adhere those and make a pile of rocks and then just like coat them with spray adhesive. I'll watch some videos and make sure I'm not going way off base, but that's going to be my plan, and we'll make some kind of rubble along these edges and along here, but still make it so you can be visible with some line of sight. I don't really like that the second floor has no line of sight, so I might cut some windows. And I suppose I have 2 windows there, and if you're needing line of sight, you would be up on the 3rd floor. Yeah, we'll see where I go with that. But thank you for watching, and I really appreciate your